Alright, so I said my next video was going to be about the general topic of skill, but I can't really promise that when EA does things that make me want to pull my hair out and scream a lot. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to rant into my microphone for a little bit here about the concept of Battlefield 2042 going free to play in any capacity. I have a lot to say, and I hope you have some time to listen. This rumor has been bouncing around the internet for a while, and I have, like I said, so much to say about it. 2042 is a bit of a disaster. I don't think anybody expected EA to allow DICE to throw so much of what makes a Battlefield game, and to throw so much progress that was made throughout Battlefield 4, 1, and 5, and just throw that out the goddamn window. I don't know why they let them do that. I don't think anybody knows why they let them do that. I don't know why they cut the campaign but then still split development time across 3 different half-assed modes. To be real, like I said previously, if you took one of the modes in this game and just put it by itself, it basically feels like a free-to-play game. Low on content, lackluster, underdeveloped, and just leaves you wanting more. Like, I can't play the Portal mode in 2042 without just sort of wishing that they just remastered Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 3. But at this point, I don't trust them to do that right now. But we're gonna not rant about the quality of 2042 and my subjective frustrations with it. Let's talk about it going free to play. And of course, the first thing I have to talk about is premium standards. Now, some of you are gonna roll your eyes. I've been talking about this a lot in relation to Halo Infinite, but this is an important thing for people to understand. When it comes to products, as I've gotten older, it's less about how much money is being taken out of my bank account when I make a purchase, and it's more about what do I get for my purchase? What do I get for the money? It's like when I shop for Legos, I try to look for sets that have a good price to part ratio. Around 10 to 15 cents a part is okay, but some sets go above that and it's very frustrating because I don't want to overpay for branding. It's why I haven't bought a Lego Star Wars set in years. So when I buy a video game, I just hope that it lives up to the price tag. If I spend $60, I don't expect to have, 60 hours of fun, but I expect for the game to feel complete. And if the game runs into any massive technical issues, I really expect a lot of transparent communication from the developers or the publisher. Like Cyberpunk 2077 absolutely lied to anybody that was watching its marketing material, and the game ended up being like 1/10 of what we were offered and promised. It still ended up being an okay game, but the lies had been told and the brokenness was obvious. But at least CD Projekt Red offered no questions asked refunds and was very, very open after the game came out that they had essentially made the biggest mistake in gaming in the last 10 years. So there we go. You want that premium standard because when you spend $60, you should get something that feels worth it to you. Now that could be subjective. Call of Duty is not worth $60 to some people now, but it still is to me. Especially when it releases with the sheer quantity of content that something like Vanguard launched with, or Modern Warfare 2019 launched with. What is worth it to you is going to be subjective, but it is up to the developer to price their products accordingly. I genuinely feel like Battlefield 2042 should have been like a $30 game or a $25 game because of how lackluster it was. The problem is, EA has already sold people a $60 game, or for me, as a content creator, I bought the $90 early access edition to get footage for you guys early, but it was very broken, very buggy. Of course, my friends didn't want to play it, so I ended up only getting like 1 play session out of that extra purchase. Yeah, that wasn't worth it. But myself and many other people have already invested time and money into it. Making any aspect of that free to play now essentially says $60 on an EA product gets you a headache. And I don't know why they would do that. Like honestly, making the game free to play in any context, doing All Out Warfare for free or half of it for free, Hazard Zone for free, 2042's Portal mode for free, it doesn't make any sense. Like I said before, yeah, these could have been free-to-play games, but they weren't. The point is, the factual fact of it is, they weren't made to be free-to-play. They charged me money for them. Now if they make any aspect of that free, honestly, within the year, I'm done. I am so done giving EA any of my money or time. What the hell? Like, anybody who defends this doesn't value their money, doesn't value their favorite franchise, and doesn't mind these developers and publishers getting away with a zero integrity approach to product creation. It doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, free to play wouldn't fix the issue. You see, the thing about premium standards is, People are willing to spend $60 on a loaded as fuck COD game. Like a Black Ops 2 remaster, Modern Warfare 2 remastered. You know, people are willing to spend $60 on the new Modern Warfare 2 that's coming out this year. People would have been willing to spend $60 on a completed Halo Infinite project. But Halo Infinite, of course, released for free with no premium standards attached, with its campaign tucked away on Game Pass, and it's the most lackluster Halo game we've ever seen. It's an investment into an ecosystem. And that mentality of games being more of an investment into an ecosystem than an actual product is the reason I think we're seeing a decline in quality, and I don't know how to fix that. It's like AAA developers know that subconsciously or consciously, whether we like it or not, we sort of see these games as investments for a future that's better than the present. So games get rushed, they launch with very little content, they launch broken as hell, and it doesn't obviously feel good because you put this money down and the product isn't living up to it. You can't get ripped off by a free game. And that's, I think, what EA is thinking they can do. Maybe they want to offer 100% no question asked refunds across the board for 2042 and then make it free to play, thinking that, well, you can't be mad at its low quality or its drastic changes to the formula because now it doesn't cost you anything. But no, sorry. The issue with 2042 isn't that I paid for it. That will only be the issue if you make it free to play. The issue is that you rearranged the formula in a way that nobody wanted you to. You rushed the game so it could come out and compete against two games that are honestly head and shoulders above it, and you spread your developers so thin across 3 different projects that are all now half-assed. Because All Out War doesn't feel like the primary thing, a Hazard Zone doesn't feel like the primary thing, and Portal doesn't. Altogether, they barely form, in my opinion, like subjectively, like a $30 live service title, like an Overwatch. You didn't release a cinematic campaign with the characters that I actually kind of grew to like from Battlefield 4, and I was hoping you could do more with them. The problem isn't the barrier to entry. People don't mind that barrier. People were pre-ordering 2042 before they even saw gameplay. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying the money wasn't the issue. The cost wasn't the issue. It's you provided a low quality, derivative shell of a Battlefield game and are now backpedaling saying, well, what if it didn't cost you anything? That was never the issue. It's about the love of the franchise. I'm not upset about a bad Battlefield game because I paid for it. I'm upset because it's an entry in a series that I really care about that was handled so poorly that now I don't even want anything to do with it. I would spend $100 on a good Battlefield game. If you charged me $100 for a completely faithful, remastered Battlefield 3 with like high mantling, suppression nerf, they could do a Battlefield 3 Extreme Edition and I would spend so much money and time in that because that's something that's worth it to me. The problem, EA, the reason 2042 is falling behind Farming Simulator, EA, is that you made a game that's worth it to nobody. You made a game that pleases nobody. The issue that Call of Duty Vanguard has with its zombies mode is on a larger scale the exact issue with 2042. It doesn't appeal to anybody. It doesn't appeal to BR fans, classic Battlefield fans, new Battlefield fans. All of your innovations and progress that you and your developers made in Battlefield 1 and 5 and 4 and 3 and Hardline even. Like, I know that was visceral, but they made progress and they did interesting, unique things with your franchise. And while all of those games have problems, they are Battlefield games. You didn't want to make a Battlefield game. That's where you fucked up. The immersion of Battlefield 1 isn't here, the squad play of Battlefield 5 isn't here, the sandbox of BF4 isn't here. It's not here. The goofy fun risk-taking factor from Hardline isn't here. I don't know what else to say. If you think the issue is that your game costs money, then that just means you have a shit game. Most games cost money, and most games are worth the money they cost, to some degree. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that developers think that your expectations are being set by the price tag and not the quality of the product. I'm willing to spend money on a product. The quality has to be there, however, no matter what the product costs, otherwise I'm not going to stick around and play it. And that's the takeaway from this video. The quality has to be there whether I spent money or didn't. And I'm here to say, 2042 doesn't have quantity, doesn't have quality, And it sure as hell is lacking integrity if it thinks it can charge me $90 in November just to turn around in January and start whispering about becoming free to play. Fuck off. See you when I see you. Goodbye.